Hello, my delicious co-creators. Lilou here on the beautiful island of it's the Reunion Island. It's south of Africa. It's a little paradise. It's part of France. Absolutely delicious. I'm here with the Canadian and psychoanalyst Guy Corneau, and it's quite a privilege to have him in English. He wrote actually several books, many bestsellers in French, and there's 2 books in English. So we're going to speak more of the relationship between the father and the son. And actually, the title is really Lost Fathers.
Absent fathers, lost sons.
Yes.
Shambhala did it.
And the second one is?
It's called The Lessons in Love, and it's a Holt. Yes.
So it's absolutely a delight. For me, it's such a gift to share this moment with you, because this is an awesome man, and I had the privilege to meet him and share some time here. And I just love, your, and this video is really about that, men of the heart, and this is for all men of the heart and all women, and to share this because really you went through a lot. You had a cancer, and you share a lot the lessons from that. But tell us just quickly, briefly, your background before we go into the relationship between father and son that is crucial.
I'm a Jungian psychoanalyst. I was trained in Zurich, actually. And before that, I had a master in educational sciences from the University of Montreal. And before that, I studied in communication arts. My first degree was in communication arts. So I was very, very interested by communications between people, media, film, theater, music, which is also my background. And I switched to psychoanalysis because I realized, writing a script for films, that all that meant something symbolically. It was like a shock, Everything I was imagining was actually talking about my own soul and was symbolizing something of my inner life. That's why I turned to Jungian psychology. And also because I was working in a theater group. It was at times of communes, at the time. And we were all living together and doing theater together. It was beginning of the 70s. And we all started to read Jung and, write down our dreams and all that. And one of my friends was playing the analyst at the end of the table, at the breakfast table. And we just entered this life, and it was, strangely enough, theater was very connected with dream life and Jungian theories and Freudian theories and all that. So it was very intertwined, actually. And finally, I became a psychoanalyst because I wanted a profession where there would be enough passion for me. And also, theater was not bringing much money. We were doing our own shows, our own creations. And I thought, I'd become a psychoanalyst and then I can do the theater on the side. But it was never like that. I had as much passion for psychoanalysis that I had for the theater. So.
Yeah. What I really beyond your curriculum and beyond what you have done, there is truly somebody that questioned things and that put it in practice. And I spent some time with you, and I could see how you're going with this flow. And you had this near-death experience too, or quite a lot of things that make you just like, okay, life is the way it is now, and there's kind of something in you that is quite relaxed about how it goes, and at the same time you keep on attracting beautiful things.
Yes, but we're only traveling, we're just traveling on this earth, and there's nothing to grasp or to grab, so you have to go with it. And I think life is bringing so many good things. At the same time, I find that difficult experiences are also the good things that are knocking at our door, and that it is an opportunity. You can choose, what do I do with that? We cannot choose what happens to us, but we can choose how we react to what happens to us. And our own cells and brains, what is true for the cells is not what happens, but how you react and your inner moods and all that. And that gives the tone for everything else, If I had the chance to be very ill all through my life, and to turn it into something else, instead of being simply depressed or angry, or of course you go through all that, but then at one point you said, no, if I have to go, better to go with a smile. Mm-hmm. So I started to change everything in myself, and it brought a lot of comfort and joy.
Joy, yeah.
joy of living. Yeah. I mean, You have no choice. Things are bound to happen, and as a psychoanalyst, you see that no childhood is perfect. Everybody is hurt somewhere down the line, and everybody is lacking recognition. And unless you bring it to yourself and start to be really in tune with the universe, you're not there.
So cancer, somewhat, I mean, the different things that you've experienced, the challenging things, the diseases, if we could say that, have brought a lot of, you brought love, you gave yourself love, the love that was missing that maybe you didn't have from your father. I mean, what was your relationship with your father? Tell us, and how is this linked to maybe even that, or is it?
Yes, Absent Fathers was based on that, and I had a few pages about my real father in this book. And it's true that my father was not there when I was young, but at the same time, he was a good man. And, when I started to write the book, we're talking 86, 88 of the other, century, and of the previous century. And my father, listening and also learning about his background, he was just a man of his own generation. He was silent, and his way of bringing love to us was to bring bread on the table and bring money to the home so we could have instruction and we could go to university and all that. And I think that I understood that. At the beginning of the book, I was angry after him. At the end, I could understand his story, and that it was my role to go on, basically, to say, okay, that was missing, so I have to create it.
Did you had some conversations with him, or is this something that you've done? Is this an internal work? Because most of the time it takes steps, huh?
It was both an internal work, and then it was also a dialogue with him. And I think that when my father went away and died, it was very clear between us, and very loving and very united. It was very strange. My father did not talk more at the end of his life than at the beginning, probably. But the silence was full of love and meaning, and it was very agreeable. Yeah.
And on a soul level, what was your lesson there with him? What did you understand? What are some life lessons? I guess to unconditional love, huh, too?
Yes, that, but also that my father was a very loving soul. Yeah. That love was there. And it was funny because my father had a reflection about one of my books where I talk about love, lessons in love. And my father told me something very strange. He said, I read your book, and it's strange because in my life, I had always the impression that love was surrounding me. And it took a near-death experience to realize that love is always with us. And I was flabbergasted because my father never talked. So he was just... He could not understand the world in which I was living, basically, and the difficulties I was going through. He had he thought that life was about love and being surrounded by love, and everything was all right like that. Yeah. It's strange. Yeah. And
is that linked to the cancer, you think? Did you understood it, or where did it came from for you? Was it part of it? Or?
Well, the near-death experience was really an experience of love and light. And it's very good to go on the other side and come back. It's extraordinary. It detaches you from many, many things. And at the same time, it opens your spirit tremendously because it puts you in communion with everything that is. And you just don't understand where you stood before. It's like, it's always the same hotel, wherever you are. It's always the same thing. So there I had a grasp of that. And then... with cancer, I understood that there was still a division in myself, a profound division in myself between who I was presenting to the world, and who I was really inside and deep down inside. And I had to make a bridge and I think cancer was really a place of reunion between spirit and matter. My impression was that cancer grounded me in this earth and grounded the inspiration, grounded the love. But what made it the most was not an experience through illness, but Nicolas. I had a son of 4-year-old, And when he was...
You have.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounded like it was the past, but
No, I have.
Your father of a sort of...
Yes. And when the first minute of his life, he was in my arms. And there I was done. I mean, it was... in 1 second, I understood what was love all about. And it was just, my heart opened and never closed after that. It was just, okay, I got it. And I also understood something about living, that love is about taking care of somebody, caring about somebody.
Beyond ourselves.
Beyond ourselves.
It starts here, otherwise it's hard to give.
Yeah, absolutely. But I learned that it's your question is good. I mean, self-love was the most difficult thing for me to learn, basically. And I remember when I started my studies as a psychoanalyst, my training, I was irritated by this thing about, it was very much in the air at the time to be self-loving and all that. I hated the whole stuff. And I couldn't get it. When Nicolas was born, I understood that love was about caring, really, concretely, about somebody going beyond your egocentricity, And I started to say, Guy, would you like to befriend somebody like Guy? And there I understood that I could like myself, could love myself, and I'd like to have a friend whose name would be Guy. Yeah. And it started to sink in what it was all about. And I found unless you're grounded in this tasting your own vibration, basically, and expanding it in the universe, you don't get it, basically. You have to be part of the equation. For example, I've been meditating since I was, I think, 25 years old. It's a long time. And but I was meditating in a way that I was abstracting myself from everything. And then I said, no, it's not the point. You have to start from your own sensation, even the body sensation, and just to expand. And now I do nothing when I meditate. I basically, because everything I tried, it's always, I'm not good, so I fail all the time. So for me, meditating is really to be sitting and to just tasting, the universe.
Ecstasy of life, the beauty of life, or just being.
Being united with everything that is, just tasting again, to be yourself, to be among all this beauty and even the noise. I can meditate anywhere, basically.
And plus, this frequency, this sensation. You were there in your near-death experience.
What I'm talking about, it's like tasting a very subtle sensation in yourself, by which you recognize yourself, but your soul, basically, that is mixed with everything that is. For me, soul has to do with something in you that is already united with everything. So I think that there is no effort to be done. I mean, we're already joy. The Tibetans talk about the luminous ground of being. And so we're already joy, we're already love, we're already peace. And it's just connecting to that. It's veiled by our preoccupations, because we want to be somebody, we want to exist in the eyes of other people. And all that is a hindrance. I mean, it's an obstacle, really.
So are you coming to the conclusion maybe that the psychoanalysis is not needed because we are just that?
Well,
or you have a different perspective than at the beginning, maybe?
Yes. Well, for neurotic and very mentalized people like me, mental people, psychoanalysis is very good, because you go from where you know to deep down inside where you don't know, when you know less, what is coming from the unconscious. So basically, for me, it was learning to let go of all this mental stuff. And so I think psychoanalysis, as far as I'm concerned, was very good for me. And maybe I was trained as a Jungian analyst, so Jungian psychoanalysis was very good for me because it was so open to the dreams, to the unconscious. And a part of me was very close to that. So I could really...
No, you can give yourself permission.
Absolutely. No, you're right. I mean, it's all a matter of authorizing yourself to wake up, basically, to awaken. Yeah. And it's one thing it took me a long time to get, is that it really has to do with auto-stimulation of your own quality of being, of your own potentialities. Basically, in life, the problem is that we sit and we wait, but it makes no sense. if you wait, nothing will happen, or things you don't like will happen. But if you start to really, bring the light in, for example, this summer, I spent the whole summer doing meals of light. I would sit in the sun for 10, 15, 20 minutes and really bring the particles of light inside and to really integrate them consciously.
Sun gazing or not? Would you call sun gazing at looking at the sun, as some people do that?
Looking at the sky, looking at the green, and all that, and of course your eyes has to get the light, yes. And but that was very, very good. It gives you a strength. It nourishes something very deep inside, and it awakens your own light. Basically, it's already there. When you have these near-death experiences, when I came back from that, everything has its own light. I was eating, for example, and the food had its own light. And it was laughable because it was like you're God and you're eating God, and it's just laughter. Everything was terribly funny. Where I stand now, it's not
like
so...
a big joke, yeah.
Yeah, it was a big joke. And the only choice you had was to laugh. And for where I stand now, it's not that. I have to make efforts to integrate things and all that consciously. But I like it also. I like the efforts we have to make to... I like it because it's... everything is given, but you have to take it. Yeah. And you have to expand consciously. And I like this... we're free, basically, to open the door or to let the door close or to just open it a bit. And I like this freedom.
We're not constantly in that open space. We just, the back and forth or the different space we can get in is very interesting. Yeah.
And even that you have to accept that you're not always open. And also it's a game, it's part of the game. And
yeah, lessons in love. That part is more on relationship, intimacy, and all that. You like that topic too? I mean, there's many topics that you cover over the years, yes. But this is another of them.
Yes. I have the benefit of a long life, and lessons in love has to do with relationships, really. The dynamic of relationships. And the basic question I was asking myself, we always say, for example, as psychologists and psychoanalysts, we say that we take so much from our parents and we repeat. And I was interested by the question, what do we repeat exactly? And so the book has to do with fathers and daughters and mothers and sons and unconscious contracts between fathers and daughters and mothers and sons that we do repeat in couples. And
what's up with that? With the father that's not present in a daughter's in a woman's life?
I find that it really has to do with a love that is developed in silence. Daughters are so open to their fathers, but there is so much silence in that relationship. So very seldom the word of love or affection from the father is coming, and it's all an open heart. But at the same time, it's a heart open for wounds, because when you transfer that to a relationship, you expect a lot from a man, and you idealize the figure of the father. All this silence of the father make for the fact that women either idealize the father figure or despise the father figure. You either idealize man or you despise man. And it was very interesting to work with that, better understand the world of women. And
talk about anima, which is
you would talk about animus. Women, for example, becoming very masculine because they want to have some value in the world of men or in a very masculine world. But you have also women that take the other route, saying, "No, I will become a little dull and always open to the fantasies of men and all that, and you serve men and all that." But neither of these positions, of course, is well, you have to go through that, but it's not you. Yeah. It's you're playing roles in order to get some attention. If you're very masculine, you're saying like, I won't wait, I won't expect on the eyes of men to prove myself and to prove to men that I exist and that I'm worth something. But on the other side, you're trapped also in your own personality, because then you're not close enough. You're more sensuous. You're more the part that is more able for communion and sensitivity and all that, and you need that part also to exist as a human being and also as a woman. And you're stuck in the stereotypes. Basically, we're stuck in stereotypes. We're stuck in our own personalities and sub-personalities, and the idea is to get out of it, is to become...
Free yourself.
Yes, become conscious of it and free yourself of the layers that don't allow yourself to be real or to express your own talents and at your own rhythm. You know, basically, all of us is condemned to happiness and to peace. And you can take as many lives you want to get there, and you can do it in one life. We're going there anyway. So the layers you will take away, and if you don't, life will do it. Cancer will do it. A love breakup will do it. Catastrophes will do it, basically. And this morning I was having breakfast. I was thinking, I had a strange thought in my head. And I was thinking, we're living in a very threatening world. It's so uncomfortable because there is so much misery in front of our eyes, so many people hungry and so many people in wars and refugees and all that. At the same time, we're threatened by such a vast world because we know more and more about the world and our inner world and how much it's open. And I say that will allow humanity to go to the next step because there is so much threat. It cannot go on like that. We have to change this humanity. At the same time, we have to have the courage of going to more expansion and vastness to change this world. Basically, we need this inspiration now.
Final little word on really the key, if we can summarize this, the key to get there, to step into this, or to let go of the past or accept part of ourselves. What is really the key? Is there something that you've noticed throughout all these years that is really a milestone in human development?
Do nothing. Basically, for example, I'll give you a small example. People smoke and they want to stop smoking. I always tell them, don't stop now. Observe yourself smoking. Because if you don't know why you smoke, it's no use, because then you will stop smoking, but then you'll eat too much, or you'll exercise too much, or you'll do something like that. Don't stop smoking. Smoke and smoke consciously. If you're in a problem with somebody in your relationship, don't break up right away. Observe yourself in this difficulty. Welcome the difficulty inside and learn from it. Because it's not the other, it's you. It's your own self. You're stuck in your own personality, and the suffering is helping you to, okay, what are the beliefs, the expectations, the fears, the wounds that are imprisoning me? And if I start to observe them, then I have a choice to go towards more joy, more freedom, to maybe go beyond the fear and express more talent and more of my potentialities, and to be in this world what you want to be. I like the world of, I think Gandhi said, become the world you want
to see, be the change you want to see in the world.
Exactly. I truly believe in that. I'm totally with that. I think it's the only way. I think the other thing that I would really like to say is that choose to be joyful anyway. Choose that without reasons for it.
Choose joy for no reason. Yeah.
For no reason, very freely, very gratuitously, because it's your offering to the world.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Guy. I really enjoyed this conversation. Really, really helpful. I love it, and very pleasant. Feel in my soul expansion. So thank you so much for this conversation. I wish you a great conference here at the Sommet du Développement Personnel, Personal Development here on the Océan Indien, where we're speaking and having a great time here and seeing some beautiful sceneries too. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lilou.
And big kiss to all of you juicy co-creators out there. We wish you an amazing day or evening. Much love. Bye-bye.